Hey everybody, what's up? Aaron here at Question Period Canada, and it has been a really fun couple of months. Amazing. Like, we've learned so many things about how to make videos, and especially we've learned a lot about Canadian politics.
And turn website layout.
And one of the best parts is sharing with you the things that I see as I learn. And one of the fun things that we've been doing the whole time is making these short videos, because I guess that's kind of how you catch attention. But we make these short videos, and now we're going to take a good look, which I haven't done in months, at all of the material that we started building and like where it's progressed to. So we'll jump into that.
Justin Trudeau was back in Parliament after playing hooky for a couple of days. After the Nazi scandal, Pierre Poilievre tore him up. Let's check it out.
It was the personal responsibility of the Prime Minister to invite President Zelensky to the floor of this House of Commons. It was his personal responsibility to make sure it was a diplomatic success. It was his personal responsibility to continue to lead the government that has the security, intelligence, and diplomatic agencies that could have and should have vetted all individuals who were present and recognized. Yet this Prime Minister allowed for a monumental, unprecedented, and global shame to unfold in this chamber. Will he take personal responsibility for this shame and personally apologize on behalf of himself?
Poilievre tore him up. Like, subscribe, more videos to come. No matter what you think, it's more fun when Justin Trudeau is in the House of Parliament, rather than when he's playing hooky as he has been the last couple of days.
We're going to chop the carbon tax, Mr. Speaker. This Liberal member, just like his NDP coalition partners, have betrayed Albertans. Albertans who are ripped off by this carbon tax, just like people right across the country. That member, just like the NDP, decided to betray his constituents and vote for the Prime Minister's plan to dig deeper in the pockets of hardworking people. Will they abandon their reckless plan to quadruple the tax to 61 cents a litre and vote for our motion to do it next week?
Poilievre slams Trudeau and the Liberals again. Like, subscribe for more videos. Grocery prices pretty expensive,
I know, I'm funny
right?
looking.
This is what Trudeau had to say in Question Period about the grocery problem.
The audio is so bad.
Mr. Speaker, we see that the Leader of the Opposition is always ready to play political games, because a few weeks ago we moved forward with the Affordable Housing and Groceries Act, which will help build more rental homes and increase competition, including amongst the largest groceries. But instead of working with us to move this forward before Thanksgiving, the Conservative opposition chose to obstruct debate around these measures. We're going to continue to stay focused on helping Canadians while they stay focused on playing political partisan games.
Do you believe him? I don't. We'll be watching.
The audio
subscribe.
is so
But
bad.
you know when we've got stories to share.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Remember we tried to cover this story? We're going to bring it back.
Alan Ray has dropped a bomb on Parliament today. The orphan
Still
MP.
not good.
Governor General scandal coming. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I know how to fix that now.
Mr. Speaker, after the Governor General's lavish spending on international travel, we've learned her office spent over $117,000
It's embarrassing when you know
on
you're
dry
not good at
cleaning since
something.
2018.
Look back.
An average of $1,800 per
and
month.
watch what you did.
For fun,
anyway.
I did some calculations based on the going rate for these services.
That's,
At the rates she's been spending,
I'm not
that's
good.
an
I know I'm
average
not.
of 3 outfits a day, 365 days a year. Why doesn't the government cut her $33 million budget?
beat, though.
What are they waiting for? Because she's clearly incapable of managing taxpayers' money seriously and responsibly.
More to come. Like and subscribe. We'll follow up. And I, man,
words cannot
it's pretty funny
express
to
the
watch
grief
your
and
own
pain
stuff.
being felt by the Mirren and Harris
This-
families, as well as the entire community of Winnipeg. They're looking to find healing and closure right now, Our approach must be victim-centered, trauma-informed, and Indigenous-led to support healing. That's why today we announced $740,000 more in additional funding to explore in greater detail the next steps of a search. And as we announced in our last budget, we are moving forward on a red dress alert as well, Mr. Speaker.
I don't know if I believe that. Do you? Like, subscribe.
Bad audio, bro. Like, oh, the audio is
The
so
Honorable
bad on
MP
those
from
early
Thornhill, Melissa Lanceman. She's fun. Check her out. Funny hair. Check it out.
Mr. Speaker, this is exactly what the Prime Minister does when he's desperate and flailing, not confident about his leadership. Canadians in other parts of the country now have one more reason to regret voting for them. Like in Northern Ontario, where a minister at the cabinet table has sold out her own neighbours and left them out in the cold. So will she vote with those who sent her to this place and scrap the tax on all home heating, or will she vote with the Prime Minister and remind Thunder Bay that she's just not worth the cost?
So Melissa Lanceman's a firecracker. Biggest cow lick
Melissa
I've ever
Lanceman
seen.
is a
Like and
firecracker.
subscribe. We've got lots of videos coming. We're doing Canadian politics and having fun.
The
What
message,
do you
I
think of
has been
Poiliev?
the
He
same.
goes pretty hard at Trudeau right here. Check it out.
The audio is
Facts
so
that
bad.
Canadians didn't want champagne for Thanksgiving. They just want some food. And I did a little bit of price shopping on that for him. In the last days of the Conservative government, the price for a pound of turkey was $1.49, and the flyers today show it's $2.49, a 70% increase. And I might add that the picture of the turkey during the Conservative years was a big, plump, beautiful bird, whereas right now it's a skimpy, shrimpy little thing that looks like it's been taxed to death. Mr. Speaker, why won't they get off the back of the turkey so that we can have a nice dinner for Thanksgiving?
Poiliev slams Trudeau and the Liberals again. Like, subscribe for more videos. This is hysterical. Ever put your foot in your mouth? Adam Van Coverden has foot in the mouth disease. Pretty bad. It's hysterical. Check it out.
You know who knows a thing or two about farming and climate change? That's the farmers who work in the breadbasket of the world, Ukrainian farmers. And you know who asks Canadian parliamentarians to vote for the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement? Ukrainian farmers. So did the Ukrainian Canada Congress. So did President Zelensky himself. Ukrainian farmers are betrayed by this federal government. That's the people who grow. Canadian farmers are betrayed by those conservatives. Apologies for the misstep.
What a goof. He's always trying to be funny. Both feet in the mouth. It's hysterical. Like and subscribe. Canadian Politics, right here. It would seem that Andrew Scheer knows who invited the Nazi to the Parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, it's the government that is politicizing this issue. For refusing to accept their responsibility. There is only one group of individuals who have control over who has access to a foreign head of state. A head of state who is fighting for his country's life against an illegal invasion by Russia.
Do you think that that's true? If it is true, it's going to come out.
And the Prime Minister has a duty of care for that entire visit. Now the government House leader is trying to change her tune and say, yes, there was information gathered, list was gathered, but vetting wasn't done. What's the point of gathering a list of invitees if they're not doing any background checks? The Honourable Government House leader.
So what do we think? Did Andrew Scheer know? Is it going to come out? These clowns.
The audio is
Aaron
so
here,
bad.
Question Period
Come on,
Canada. Quick
Aaron.
question about grocery prices. What are we going to do? I can't afford my bills.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the member for the question, Mr. Speaker. I'm really surprised in the way of that question, Mr. Speaker. We did one
this
thing that has
music
never
before,
been done in
like-
Canadian history. We called the 5 CEOs of the groceries in Ottawa, Mr. Speaker. And we expressed the frustration of 40 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker, about the price of grocery. I would
heard that
enjoy
before.
all member of this House to give the same message that I give. Make sure you help Canadians and help us to stabilize price in Canada. That's what Canadian expects.
We needed a courtesy flush with that one. Like and subscribe. We've got lots of videos. Some scandals won't go away. This is one of those. Alan Ray has dropped a bomb on Parliament today.
The audio
Orphan
is so
MP.
bad, guys.
Governor
I'm sorry.
General scandal
Like,
coming. Let's check
it's
it out.
kind of like
Mr. Speaker,
Not meaning
after the
to
Governor
criticize
General's
my own
lavish
stuff,
spending on
but
international
man.
travel, we've learned her office spent over $117,000 on dry cleaning since 2018.
it has
an average
gotten
of
a lot better, I
$1,800
think.
per month.
Like if you see the
For
new
fun, I
videos,
did some
they're better.
calculations based on the going rate for these services. At the rates she's been spending, that's an average of 3
This is
outfits
bad
a
one,
day,
though. There's
365
cross
days
music
a
in the
year.
background.
Why doesn't the government cut her $33 million budget?
this is a bad
What are they waiting for? Because she's clearly incapable
whatever.
of
They're
managing
short,
taxpayers' money
so-
seriously and responsibly.
Like and subscribe. We're
Oh
investigating.
my God! It was the lazy one, Aaron. God damn.
Aaron,
That-
question period Canada. Question for you,
that was a
Pierre.
bad one.
What do you think about this new House Speaker? His set of rules, the way he plays.
Now I see. Now, if I'm Mr. Speaker, if I may, this is
This
the
was
first
an
time
intense moment.
in all of my years here that I have seen a speaker interrupt question period to make a speech. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. And I furthermore, the fact that you've risen to your feet in order to impose apparently a series of guidelines that are not approved by the Board of the Internal Economy or voted on by the House of Commons, and that you're doing it in violation of one of the existing rules that is already in place, suggests a very serious and unusual departure from the normal way in which Parliament exists.
So what did you think? Like and subscribe. We've got lots of videos coming. So Pierre, what do you think about this new House Speaker? His set of rules, the way he plays.
The fact that you've risen to your feet in order to impose apparently a series of guidelines that are not approved by the Board of the Internal Economy or voted on by the House of Commons, and that you're doing it in violation of one of the existing rules that is already in place, suggests a very serious and unusual departure from the normal way in which Parliament exists. The government is here to serve Parliament, not the other way
But now it's playing in
around.
the background
We ask
of a
that you
live
allow us
video.
to
I'm
proceed to
curious
question
to see
period
how that
and you
goes.
make your statement afterwards.
You really slammed him there. Like and subscribe. We've got lots of
The
videos
audio
coming.
is still so bad.
So Pierre, what do you think about this new House Speaker? His set of rules, the way he plays.
The fact that you've risen to your feet in order to impose apparently a series of guidelines that are not approved by the Board of the Internal Economy.
We've got lots of videos coming. Not just the politicians are fun.
Do you guys know Stephanie Cussy? She's an MP from Alberta. She flips out on the Liberals. Let's take a peek.
Member from Calgary Mindapore.
Damning new information
good.
revealed today shows that ArriveCan contractors submitted receipts to the government for a company that doesn't even exist. Wow. This investigation already includes allegations of identity theft, forged resumes, contractual theft, fraudulent billing, price fixing, and collusion in the creation of the $54 million ArriveCan app. How much worse can this boondoggle get? Simple question, which Alberta insiders got rich?
Who got rich?
Who got rich? That was a big
So
one.
if you like Canadian politics, a little bit of humor, like and subscribe. We've got lots coming. You guys all know John Barlow, MP from Alberta, with a slick tongue. Man, he's smooth. Asks the questions, doesn't
Do you
let them
guys
get
know
away with
how
not
much
answering.
time it takes to
Well,
make
it's good
one
to
of
see the
these?
agriculture minister stand up and defend Canadian farmers. But if the finance minister's plan for Canadians is to cut meals,
Kind of proud of myself,
cut their heat,
'cause
well,
I made
mission
a
accomplished.
lot.
Your carbon tax plan is working extremely well.
Like a lot.
But a common sense conservative bill, C-234, will provide a carbon
And they
tax
are
carbon
good,
for farmers
I think.
and make food more
think.
affordable for Canadians. But the Prime Minister as Environment Minister has promised if this bill passes, he will resign. So is that why the Environment Minister is bullying senators in the Senate to block 234? Because he wants to save his job rather than ensure Canadians can afford to feed themselves?
So yeah,
a good
Clark
one.
Kent there. He's pretty good. Like
good.
and subscribe. Canadian politics, right here. Mike Barrett, an MP from Ontario, wants
So
to
many
know
of
from
these
Trudeau
videos,
if
guys.
Canadians will get their money back from the slush funds and scandals.
The Honourable Honourable member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, Rideau Lakes.
Last night at committee, the hand-picked Liberal chair of this Prime Minister's billion-dollar green slush fund was exposed as having used staff at the fund to round up $10 million for her project that had been deemed ineligible. And then she literally ran out of the committee, shutting off the cameras because she didn't want to answer any more questions. This NDP Liberal government failed to protect taxpayers from embezzlers and swindlers to the tune of $150 million. After 8 years, this Prime Minister isn't worth that cost. When will Canadians get back their missing millions?
These are issues Canadians need to know about. Like and subscribe. Question Period Canada. Mike Barrett's a fierce MP from Ontario, used to be a military guy. Now he's hunting down the Liberals. What is up with the slush funds and scandals?
Liberals and that minister was satisfied with their cover-up report and wanted the board chair and their CEO to implement the recommendations at this corrupt organization. But now with the Auditor General investigating and the Ethics Commissioner investigating 2 Liberal appointees, the board chair and the CEO have resigned in disgrace. There's $1 billion on the line, and we know that up to $150 million
I'm trying to get
has
better
been
at
embezzled.
keeping track of
Canadians
the
can't
material
afford
that I've
this
covered.
Prime Minister after 8 years of him and his NDP Liberal government. We want to know, it's very easy, who got rich.
That seems
I know who didn't get rich. He's sitting right here. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics.
That is a
They
true
say
joke.
Conservatives don't believe in climate change. Sounds here like Ben Loeb does. He's an MP from Ontario fighting for Canadian farmers.
That's an interesting answer right there, Mr. Speaker. This Liberal government is never
That is an
respected the
interesting
environmental
answer.
goods
You
farmers
should have
do,
seen what he was just
and they
fed.
prove it every day by hitting Canadian farmers with high carbon taxes. One farmer in the Conservative leader's riding had an 11,000 carbon tax bill in 1 month. Wow. With the Liberal carbon tax, it's now cheaper for Canadians to buy food trucked from Mexico than from local Canadian farms. How's that right? How's that good for the Canadian consumer, the environment, or Canadian farmers?
Yeah, Ben Loeb, pragmatic. Like, subscribe, fun with Canadian politics right here. Watch how Rachel Bendayan twists this answer into something that divides and distracts.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, just a few days ago, Conservative members voted against the interests of farmers. Just a few days ago, they also voted against measures to promote women's participation in the economy, against free menstrual products, Mr. Speaker, against funding for sexual misconduct investigation, and against subsidizing childcare. Mr. Speaker, what do the Conservatives have against measures that support women?
She is the most condescending.
Let's take a peek at the question.
Question is, will the Prime Minister call Brian Hawes? Will he explain to him how he expects him to pay this extra $40,000? Should he raise prices on Canadians, or should he cut production so that Canadians are forced to import food from foreign polluting farms?
Okay, now you know that's how these Liberals are doing it. It's a problem. Like and subscribe. We're learning about Canadian politics right here.
How do you feel about this? The Prime Minister says you don't pay taxes. I'm a poor person. I pay taxes, though.
Mr. Speaker, we see proof that the Conservatives simply don't understand that low-income families don't benefit from tax breaks because they don't pay taxes. We have moved forward on investing directly in low and middle-income families with the Canada Child Benefit that'll actually directly benefit them. We have lifted hundreds of thousands.
I kind of feel like Trudeau's disconnected. Like, half of the money I make, and I don't make much, but half of it goes to him. So, well, like and subscribe. On one hand, you could make fun of Charlie Angus very easily. On the other hand, he asks good questions, still representing the NDP. I kind of like Charlie Angus.
Is given
Like, I
billions
can't
for
help
EV
it.
battery plants, but he
It's
has
a
no
joke,
plan
kind
for
of,
supplying
but-
Canadian critical minerals to make these EV
But
battery operations
funny
a Canadian
joke.
success. There are metal deposits right now in Sudbury, Thompson, Timmins that are ready to go into operation, but they need a federal partner. Without a tax credit strategy, the auto industry is going to be getting its metal from China, Indonesia, or Congo, places with much lower environmental, human rights, and wage standards. Why is this Prime Minister continuing to buy watch a made-in-Canada solution so that we can be a true clean energy leader.
Would Charlie Angus be better off going independent or sticking with the NDP? He's one of the more relatable politicians in there. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. Am I seeing double? Better ask an expert. Charlie Angus knows a thing or two about getting hammered.
So we're getting
pretty funny.
the fall economic update from the government today. Well, let me give an update from small businesses in Northern Ontario. I mean, first they got hammered by the pandemic, then they got hammered by high inflation, now they're being hammered by liberal indifference. And if the Prime Minister doesn't change course on the CEBA repayments, many of our businesses are going to be forced to close their doors in January.
I
so
like
will the
Charlie
Prime Minister
Angus,
do the right thing and extend the loan
Kinda
repayment
hard not
deadline so that we can have our small businesses get back on their feet?
So it sounds like everybody's getting hammered, seeing double. What's going on? Charlie Angus is funny.
Probably
like and subscribe. Fun with Canadian politics right here.
Huge surprise
Michael Chong, a very serious MP from Ontario, is pissed off that a bill is being hung up in the Senate.
This is a good one.
Speaker, it doesn't matter what the government thinks about Bill C-234. It doesn't matter what the Senate thinks about the bill, because taxation and spending are the exclusive right of this House, not the Senate. In our system, there is no taxation without representation. Section 53 of the Constitution says all financial legislation must originate in this House. Standing Order 80 says that this House alone grants aids and supplies. When will the Prime Minister direct his representative in the Senate to respect this democratic institution, the only democratic institution in this country, and pass the tax bill?
Michael Chong was running hot there. It was fun to watch. Like and subscribe. We're having a great time with Canadian politics right here. And we thought Michael Chong was pissed off before. He's amped up, wants to know why the Senate's holding up this bill.
From Wellington, Halton Hills.
Mr. Speaker, we used to live in a country where the governor regularly ignored bills passed by the elected Legislative Assembly. We used to live in a country where the appointed upper chamber used to regularly ignore bills passed by the elected lower chamber. That was a country long, long ago whose institutions were abolished after the rebellions of 1837. But now the unelected Senate thinks it's some sort of Chateau, clique, or Tory compact, ignoring a tax bill passed by this elected House. Again, when will the Prime Minister direct his representative in the Senate to respect the right and will of this House and pass the tax bill?
When it comes to politicians, a lot of them are clowns. Michael Chong is a shark. Watch out. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. Like and subscribe. You can't have heroes without having villains.
So
Chrystia
many
Freeland
of these
is the
shorts,
villain
guys.
in this situation. She's
So
like a
many.
witch.
Like,
Mr. Speaker,
I have a
let
career
me
and
tell
stuff.
you
Like, I'm a person.
Who is missing in action when it comes to protecting
this as a hobby.
Canadians and their
Like-
affordability? And I'm talking about the affordability of life for our seniors.
Jeez,
You know who's missing
gross.
in action? The Conservative leader. It took him 29 days to speak up for the Canada Pension Plan. But none of us should have been surprised, because last year he sought to eviscerate that plan, which is so important to every single Canadian, by seeking to freeze contributions. We can't trust Conservatives with our pensions or anything else.
We're just having fun at Chrystia Freeland's expense. That Sour Patch face like it sucked a lemon, that voice, she's a witch. Like and subscribe. Canadian politics, we're having fun here. Damien Currick is a wild one from Alberta, wears a belt buckle in Parliament, asks great questions.
From Battle River, Crowfoot.
Mr. Speaker, it sounds like that high-price communications consultant certainly isn't worth the cost. The real nonsense is the rhetoric coming from the Liberals. Mr. Speaker, there is a real opportunity to lower the cost of food for Canadians, and it is in the name of common sense Conservative Bill C-234. It's a simple and pragmatic way to reduce the cost of food production on our farms. Will the Prime Minister put his ego aside and do what's best for Canadians and stop the pressure he is applying to his appointed senators that is keeping them from passing common sense Bill C-234?
The Honourable Government House.
Pragmatic, nuanced, yeah. Like and subscribe. Fun with Canadian politics right here. Giddy up. Scott Davidson, a pretty sharp MP from Ontario, knows you can't buy groceries with a AAA credit rating. Let's look.
Mr. Speaker, 71% of food bank users say their circumstances have become much worse after 8 years of this NDP Liberal government. If this Prime Minister spoke to real Canadians lined up at food banks, he'd know you can't feed a family with AAA credit rating. So will this Prime Minister stop blocking common sense Conservative Bill 234?
I had like one of the well, whatever. Like, I guess you call them subscribers. Like, they're my friends, I feel like. But I had one of my friends make a joke about like how similar this guy looks. how similar this guy looks to what's her name? I'm stuttering here, but like how much he looks like Aaron Lanceman. How much he looks like Lanceman, like, and he doesn't look like Lanceman, except that he does look like Lanceman. Like, honestly, one of the comments that cracked me up the hardest was this person just saying like, "Oh, Melissa Lanceman," but they were speaking about this one, and
so Canadian families can feed themselves.
a lot of good that credit rating is doing me these days. These taxes are outrageous. Like and subscribe. Canadian politics, we're having fun right here.
So silly.
I don't like being deceived. I looked into it.
like
Coal
being
production
deceived.
and exports are up in Canada under the Trudeau government. Way up. Lump of coal in your stocking for Christmas, Trudeau.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to point out that we're the government that's phasing out coal, Mr. Speaker, over the opposition of the leader of the opposition. We're going to continue to build a better and brighter future for all Canadians, and that includes fighting against climate change so we can ensure that we keep a stronger future for Canadian children to be able to go sledding, but also so that we can make sure that they have better jobs into the future. The climate denialism of the Conservative Party of Canada is putting future white Christmases at risk, and that's why on this side of the house we stand for Christmas.
What the hell? They're doing this so kids can go sledding? I think that he's lost it, everybody. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here.
Lazy edit.
Dr. Leslyn Lewis is an MP from Ontario with her PhD in international law. She has questions how Canadian farmers are supposed to deal with the carbon tax.
After 8 years of this Liberal NDP government, farmers are struggling under the weight of this punishing carbon tax. Karen, a chicken farmer from Norfolk, pays $350 every month in carbon taxes. When the Liberals quadruple the carbon taxes, she will be paying $1,400 a month. Will this Prime Minister tell farmers like Karen how she's going to pay for the carbon tax hike? Should she charge Canadians more for food, or should she produce less so that Canadians will be forced to import food from polluting foreign farms?
Good question.
Like and subscribe. We're showing you the questions and sometimes answers Canadians need to see. Michelle Prairie, an MP from Ontario, is asking how are Canadians and Canadian farmers supposed to deal with the carbon tax.
Always will be a viewer first.
Peterborough,
but
Kawartha.
I don't watch it.
Haas Acres has been operating their family farm since 1930. They farm about 2,000 acres, and this year they will pay $10,000 in carbon tax, which will quadruple to $40,000. Now, that may not seem like a lot to this Prime Minister and his trust fund, but it's a lot to the Haas family. So my question is, will the Prime Minister call Brian Haas? Will he explain to him how he expects him to pay this extra $40,000? Should he raise prices on Canadians, or should he cut production so that Canadians are forced to import food from foreign polluting farms?
She's not going to get any straight answers from these Liberals. I don't
these
think. Who
Liberals.
knows? Like and subscribe. We're learning about Canadian politics right here.
FPC joke.
FPC needs to remember we're gonna see the question. This is quite an answer.
I'm getting better at the
Canadians
shorts.
watching at home, they're seeing the conservative ideology in full display, Mr.
Watch
Speaker.
what I
These
do
folks
here.
are so against climate change, Mr. Speaker, that they'll go after anyone and any organization that wants to fight climate change. Even an organization that was voted 20 years ago by Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Now they want to attack the integrity of one of the most respected audit firm in this country, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we'll get to the bottom of this, but we'll keep investing in clean technology. We'll keep investing to fight climate change. We'll keep investing in Canadians.
What was the question?
Canadians
Yeah,
want
see?
to know,
Watch.
where did the
I
missing
start
millions
doing
go
this.
and who got rich?
That's a very weird answer to a
makes
very
the
normal
answer
question.
to the question
Like and
so much
subscribe.
more
Canadian
ridiculous.
politics
Like, if
right
you put
here.
in just a piece of the question.
The Minister of Innovation and Technology,
I don't know.
he's a total nut.
I think people
Check
will
him
like
out.
it, though.
FPC.
For innovation.
Mr. Speaker, we'll take no lessons from the Conservative, Mr. Speaker, especially from our party whose leader, imagine, Mr. Speaker, when he was Minister of Employment that oversaw the loss of not 3,000, not 30,000, but 300,000 manufacturing jobs, Mr. Speaker. It's shameful, Mr. Speaker. With an investment of $3.4 billion by Stellantis, we'll be creating 2,500 jobs at the plant, Mr. Speaker.
That's right.
We're going to continue to invest in workers. We'll invest in our worker and we'll invest in our auto industry, Mr. Speaker.
He won't be trusting
like
any conservatives.
We won't
It's kind
be
of
choosing
funny.
any of
Like and
these
subscribe. Canadian
conservatives.
politics right here.
Whatever he says. Like,
I have
he's
trouble
got a
enough
line.
trusting people that are straight with me. She was asked about grocery prices. It's wicked.
Minister of Finance and
Mr.
Deputy Prime Minister
Freeland is
Canada.
wicked.
Mr. Speaker, last week, the Conservatives voted against Operation Unifier, which is about direct military support for Ukraine. They've also voted against our free trade agreement with Ukraine. When we look at the extreme right south of the border parroting Putin's lines, we used to think that could never happen in Canada. But it is happening here, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we are proud to say, Slava Ukraini.
Slava Ukraini, whatever the language is, like, hey, listen,
I don't know what to say about Freeland. I think she might
bonjour.
be a witch.
Like, I'm
Like and subscribe.
Canadian,
We're
so
having fun
that's
with Canadian politics
acceptable,
right
but,
here.
like, Slava Ukraini.
This is Chrystia Freeland, the
Come
Minister of
on.
Finance and Deputy Prime Minister. She's dividing and distracting.
Vladimir Zelensky?
Mr. Speaker, we
Who?
will take no
Like-
lessons from the Conservatives when it comes to supporting the least vulnerable in
sense.
Canada. Let's review the facts, Mr. Speaker.
People in my neighborhood
UNICEF
are
came out with a
literally
report just
starving
this
and
month
freezing.
where they showed that child
I'm not
poverty in
right
Canada
there on the
has
edge of
decreased by
that, but I'm
22%
close.
compared to where they left Canadians under our government. 2.3 million more Canadians have been lifted out of poverty under our government. They know how to cut. They don't know how to support Canadians.
How do you get the word out to,
Let's
like,
see what the question was,
30
Chrystia.
million people
Are having to
that
put
your
water in their
politicians
milk or
just
literally go
lie to
hungry.
you
Do the Liberals not
openly?
realize what they've done to this
How
country,
do you
and when will they
break
finally
that
take the tax
story?
off so food prices can come down?
Like and subscribe. Canadian politics right here. Right here, Shannon Stubbs just asked about a bill being hung up in the Senate, and this is Freeland's response.
I am actually extremely confident that Ukrainian Canadians across our amazing country are in favor of our free trade deal with Ukraine. And I'm confident because the Ukrainian Canadian Congress said so. And I'm confident because President Zelensky wants that deal. And you know what? It's a great way to bring down the prices of food.
Is her
and
accent
fuel
really
for
bad,
the whole
though,
world
Mo?
by
Like,
stopping Vladimir Putin.
I don't know.
I just don't understand why these conservatives are standing against Ukraine. They're here.
The question was, why is this bill being blocked in the Senate? That was the question.
I'm doing more of that in my
woman's a witch.
shorts, like showing
We're
what
having
the
fun
question
at
was,
Chrystia
like,
Freeland's expense, right here. Like and
isn't a
subscribe. It's
good,
great. I cannot
example,
possibly be
but
the only person that thinks that
it's coming
Chrystia
along,
Freeland
guys.
could possibly be a witch. What do you think?
I just want Canadians to know. I want
We
other
know
people to
that
see what I
things are
see.
challenging
That's all.
for Canadians right now. That is why we are there care for them, building
Look how
more
evil she
homes
looks.
faster,
She's got dark
providing
makeup
dental
on.
care for children and seniors, cutting child care fees by 50% across the country. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? The only thing the Conservatives know how to do is cut, cut, cut. They would cut child care, dental care, housing. Mr. Speaker, that's not common sense. That is nonsense.
That is nonsense.
That face, that voice, the things she says, her history. She could be a witch. Like and subscribe. Fun with Canadian
She
politics
could be
right
a
here.
witch.
Garnet Genius, a pretty smart MP from Alberta, is
I learned my
destroying the
lesson
Liberals
about
over the
Garnet
Arrive
Genius.
scam scandal.
I felt like an
NDP
idiot,
Liberal
but
government
I
spent
learned.
$54 million on the Arrive scam app, and now RCMP are investigating contractors. More evidence that after 8 years, this Prime Minister is not
I thought it
the
was
cost. Now, two senior public servants have
Genius,
accused
not
each other of
Genos.
lying about who made the
And-
decision to hire GC Strategies.
Yeah,
GC
I just
Strategies
missed
is a
it.
two-man company that does nothing and that subcontracts all the actual work. So will the minister
are so many moving
responsible for this
parts.
decision
Like,
stand up now
what do you
and
do
explain
for a
to the
hobby?
House why GC Strategies was chosen?
What do you think of Mr. Genius? What a great name. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here.
I don't even know what to say. It's pretty embarrassing. Reading a name wrong.
Garnet Genius is a pretty entertaining politician from
I
Alberta.
read it wrong a
He has some
couple times.
fun with Dr. Seuss and the Liberals.
This is the one I got burnt on.
Cross doubled down on their plan to keep raising the cost. They set out to do it by taxing the carbon on the hardworking people who do all the farming. This dastardly plan to make our farmers poor was almost disrupted by C234, but the time is coming for a bigger course correction when Conservatives bring home the carbon tax election. After 8 years, we've gone from feasting to scrap. So for Christmas, will they finally axe the tax?
Dr. Seuss was also a genius. Like and subscribe. We're having a great time with Canadian politics right here. Karina Gould is pretty rancid.
If they want to talk about deflection, it's because they don't want to talk about the vote that they took against the Canada-Ukraine free trade agreement, Mr. Speaker. There's only one member on the other side who's had the courage of her convictions to stand up to the bullying, MAGA style of their leader, and that's the member from Lethbridge. I heard a lot of members try to say that they support Ukraine over the past couple of days, but actions speak louder than words, Mr. Speaker. Just a couple of days ago,
frustrating
they
to watch.
Canada's NATO mission in Ukraine. Mr. Speaker, they don't need to stop deflecting. They should be honest with Canadians about why they're not supporting Ukraine.
Somebody should be
There are
honest.
several members that are MAGA-style conservatives. It's a question Canadians need to ask. Thank you, Mr.
MAGA style
She was asked to
conservatives
vote a
in
farm.
Canada.
Like and
Canadian
subscribe.
politics.
Canadian politics right
Give me
here.
a break, lady.
Come on,
Like,
lady. MAGA?
Yeah.
The health minister, Mark Holland, has a big, rousing speech. Too bad he's way wrong.
Time of great global difficulty, in a time where people all over the world are finding things hard. There are those that stand up and provide solutions and talk about how we make things better. And I want to recognize the NDP in stepping forward and talking about solutions, about talking about answers. When we saw the Conservatives voting against dental care, voting against support for seniors, voting against support for persons with disability, voting against our children who need dental support. Shame on them, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations to any party that stands up for ideas and getting things done in this country.
What was he talking about? What are you
Do you
getting all
agree
revved
with
up
anything
for
that
there,
Mark
buddy?
said? I don't think the Liberals are taking good care of us. Like and subscribe. Having fun with Canadian
Outrageous
politics
thing.
right here.
Like, I've watched so much Canadian politics over the last 3 months. Not
What do you think
broken,
is going
but
on here? Is Trudeau
changed.
fooling himself or trying to fool
When I
you?
started
What
3
is
months
going
ago,
on?
I was
How
like,
can he
I wonder
be
what's
this
going on
unreasonable?
here. That was my
This
approach.
Conservative
Like, I
leader
wonder
knows
what's happening.
no bounds. Just last
I
week,
know
he
that.
voted against a national school food program, and now he rises to talk about affordability.
accountability? Let's be clear. This conservative leader has no long-term vision for this country, with or without glasses. It takes more than a couple of bags of McDonald's to feed Canadians. That's why we're going to continue to step up and be there with investments for Canadians while he talks about cuts and austerity and then goes and votes for cuts and austerity.
The way things are, to be saying that he has a plan, he's been in charge for 8 years, look at what's happened. Like and subscribe, we're having fun with Canadian politics right here. If Trudeau is saying that he's got a plan and that it's a good thing, good chance it's not a great plan, right? Right?
Mr. Speaker, it's interesting to hear the Conservative leader again attacking the media, particularly on a day where we stood up and arranged a deal with Google to make sure that local journalism, that independent journalism, that the work that our news media is going to do is going to be able to stand the test of time through this
I voted for this guy.
The leader of the opposition continues to want to stand with big data, with internet giants, to sidle up to his billionaire buddies down south. We're going to continue to stand up for local journalism, for the work that professionals do to support our democracy in small towns and communities right across the country.
I didn't vote for him in the last Google election. Being involved with local journalism, I don't like the sound of that. It makes me nervous. Like and subscribe. Canadian politics changed right here in the world. How do you feel about this? The Prime Minister says you don't pay taxes. I'm a poor person. I pay taxes, though.
Mr. Speaker, we see proof that the Conservatives simply don't understand that low-income families don't benefit from tax breaks because they don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
We have moved forward on investing directly in low and middle-income families with the Canada Child Benefit that'll actually directly benefit them. We have lifted hundreds of thousands.
I kind of feel like Trudeau's disconnected. Like half of the money I make, and I don't make much. Like half
a couple of these shorts, I probably was like hammered when I was making. So like slur.
Damien Kirk, a wild MP from Alberta, giddy up, went off the other day. This is one of the craziest things I've seen in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I know for a fact that farmers are asking that minister to axe the carbon tax. That PM promised that the Senate would be independent, but the actions this past week prove that is a complete farce. We know he bullied his senators. The PM himself was on the phone over the weekend telling them they had to gut Bill C-234. The Prime Minister lied, and his minions continue to lie about
That guy's lying liberals are getting to me too, right to our faces. I'm sick of it.
So high.
Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics.
Like,
who knows? Climate change, whatever. Let's see.
They still don't have a plan to fight climate change. Over there, what they have is a plan to quadruple a tax that has failed to fight climate change, giving Canada the 58th ranking out of 63 countries, missing every target but one in 8 years, and on track to miss their targets in 2030. So stop distracting from the real agenda here, which is to take money away from farmers, from food, and from the necessities of Canadian life. Will they, yes or no, announce their support for the Senate passing common sense Conservative Bill C-234 to take the tax off the farmers who feed us?
We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. Like and subscribe. Karina Gould, who's 13 months pregnant with an alien baby, seems to think that it's the Conservatives' fault how things have been the last 8 years.
On this side of the House, we are proud to stand up for Canadians. Mr. Speaker, last week what the Conservatives did is they voted consistently against measures that not only make life more affordable for Canadians, but help them in their time of need. 988 that was just launched.
Who is she always looking at? Because she's always looking at something. Like, where is she looking? She looks like she's ready to telepunk. Like,
does any of that make sense to you?
I was always like looking over here, would you not think that I had
the
something to
Conservatives
look at over
like
there?
And subscribe. Having fun with Canadian politics right here.
Karina Gould, I find. Besides Christian Freeland,
This is Karina Gould.
Maybe
She's the leader of the
Gould
government
is
in the House of Commons. I don't know if you can believe anything she says. You tell me.
Of hypocrisy, Madam Speaker. We know what the Conservatives wanted to give Canadians for Christmas, and that's cuts to the vital programs and services that they care for. In fact, just last week, they voted against $10 a day childcare. They voted against dental care for seniors and for children. They voted against Operation Unifier, which is an important NATO mission to Ukraine. And in fact, when they refer to Ukraine as a foreign land,
what you
they
do to
forget
my
that
fellow Canadians.
the
Like,
country that is invading
it
them
makes
is Russia, which
everybody
is a
up.
border of Canada
Like-
as well, and we want to protect our sovereignty here at home. That's what they would give to Canadians.
Yeah, these politicians are hard to trust. Like and subscribe. We're having a great time with Canadian politics.
That is
Right
something interesting. That,
Shelby
like,
Cramp
has
Newman,
happened over
an
the
MP
last
from
couple of
Ontario,
months.
slaughters everything Trudeau and the Liberals have done.
I made so many videos.
Food bank usage and the need for food programs are
Cramp's
exploding
kinda hot.
because this Prime Minister's taxes are directly making food prices more expensive.
very attractive.
The rising cost
Like-
of everything is not sustainable for Canadians. After 8 long years of this Prime Minister and its NDP enablers, families are forced to choose between paying rent
She does this
and
smile
putting
at the
food
end,
on
though. It's
table.
kind of funny.
Mr. Speaker, when will this tired,
Watch. She
liberal
posts.
NDP government share some Christmas joy, axe the
Watch.
tax, and deliver some relief for Canadians?
See? Like, do you
When
know what I'm
was the
talking
last
about?
time somebody in Trudeau's cabinet made a good decision?
They're all politicians.
Like and subscribe. We're having a great time with Canadian politics right here.
Man, this Liberal cabinet these days is I'm getting into the new.
Damien Kirk, an MP from Alberta, kind of wild. He's
some
going
new
to be a star in Parliament.
Speaker, it is unbelievable how out of touch that ag minister is. Jake from Vermeer's Dairy near Camrose saw a bill of $1,700 in carbon tax charges alone last month, and it's going to be more as winter settles in on the Canadian prairies. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that these Liberals do not have an environmental plan, but rather a tax plan that punishes those who are best equipped to lower the price of food in this country. Mr. Speaker, my question is simple. Will those Liberals tell their Liberal-appointed senators to
Kirk
pass
gets a stud.
common sense conservative bill C-234 to axe the tax so farmers can feed our people?
Wait and see, like and subscribe. Damien Kirk is going to be a star in Parliament.
Damien Kirk will be a star. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Is this coalition government finally breaking down? Jenny Kwan, an NDP member, seems pretty fed up with the Liberals.
From Vancouver East.
Right here in Ottawa, the average rent for a one-bedroom has hit a record high of $2,100 a month. It's close to $3,000 in Vancouver and Toronto.
She's
It is
56 years old.
unacceptable
That
the
lady.
Liberals are delaying housing funding
56,
for another
right there.
2 years
Like,
when
at the time she's
people
talking.
can't afford rent now. Then there's the Conservatives who
Pretty
don't
good,
even believe
right?
in
Like,
community
for 56.
housing and would rather give handouts to luxury condo developers. Will the Liberals stop delaying and get the money out the door now to build the much
My
needed
question
affordable
next
housing?
would be, like, how much hair dye do you use?
$3,000 for an apartment in
How
Vancouver?
frequently?
What the hell? Like and subscribe. We're having fun, suffering through tough times with Canadian politics right here.
Jenny Kwan is 56.
So Stellantis is back. No one can find the contract. What are the details? Melissa Lantsman goes on the hunt, Cowlick included.
Prime Minister said that he would drop $15 billion on Stellantis to create new jobs. What he didn't say is that those jobs wouldn't be located in Windsor, in Ontario, or even in Canada. He's shipping taxpayer money to a Dutch company that's going to employ Korean foreign workers. Another slap in the face to hardworking Canadians who are struggling after 8 years of this government. They can't get their story straight on how many foreign jobs this $15 billion is buying. So why not release the contracts for Canadians to see for themselves?
Common sense.
Do you think Melissa's gonna find that Stellantis contract? I think the Liberals have something to hide. Seems like something's up. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. The firecracker Melissa Lantsman's back, and she does want to see the Stellantis contract. What are the Liberals hiding?
Mr. Speaker, Minister, he should take some lessons from this
everybody.
side. The
From
story
everybody.
changes every single time he is asked. He should admit that Canadians got robbed blind with this deal. The Prime Minister even told his backbench to keep this all a secret and talk out the clock so they don't have to release documents. There's no reason to do that unless they're hiding something. So we want to know what's in this deal, why he spent $15 billion to ship Canadian jobs overseas and pretend that after 8 years they care about labor in this country. Why so secret? What are they hiding?
What are they hiding? What do you think? Are the Liberals hiding that Stellantis contract? Why won't they show it? Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian
that
politics
comes out.
right here.
Like, how big a scandal will that be? Like, it's even bigger than we thought. Like,
the firecracker Melissa Lantsman is back and she has questions for Trudeau. He doesn't have answers. He's not even there.
While Canadians go cold and hungry this Christmas, this Prime Minister is counting down the hours to another taxpayer-funded beach vacation. He and his MPs are taking a 6-week holiday for voting time and time again to quadruple the carbon tax and defeat Bill C-234 as they pressured senators to gut the bill that this House already passed. If they won't axe the tax today, why won't they come to work on Monday and finally take the tax off of farmers so that Canadians can eat this Christmas?
We'll get to the bottom of this. We'll figure it out. Like and subscribe. We're having a great time with Canadian federal politics right here.
yeah, it's hard
How
to
do you feel
make
about
change,
this? The Prime Minister says
any
you don't
point.
pay taxes. I'm a poor person.
Reform
I pay
is
taxes,
necessary,
though.
but like, how are we going to get there? I don't know.
Mr. Speaker, we see proof that the Conservatives
hoping.
simply don't
I like
understand
Canadians,
that
that's all.
low-income
Like-
families don't benefit from tax breaks because they don't pay taxes. We have moved forward on investing directly in low and middle-income families with the Canada Child Benefit that'll actually directly benefit them. We have lifted hundreds of thousands.
Trudeau is
I kind
a
of feel
creep.
like Trudeau's disconnected. Like half of the money I make, and I don't make much, but half of it goes to him. So, well, like and subscribe.
Well, easy.
No matter what you think,
I
it's
might
more
have been
fun
over
when
the
Justin
limit
Trudeau is in the
on
House
that
of Parliament,
short.
rather than when he's playing hooky as he has been the last couple of days.
Not fresh like that.
8 years, this Prime Minister is not worth the cost of food. For example, the price of turkey is up at Loblaws by 67% after 8 years of this Prime Minister's carbon taxes. And all they offered, since they promised to bring prices down by Thanksgiving, is a code of conduct, an office, and a photo op. You can't eat any of those three things. They won't be on the Thanksgiving dinner table. So what will they do in the next 4 days to reverse the 67% increase in the cost of a turkey at Loblaws, just like they promised they would, Mr. Speaker?
Poilievre slams Trudeau and the Liberals again. Like, subscribe for more videos.
Oh my goodness.
Dan Mazier is a very serious MP from Manitoba, and he has questions about Bill C-324, which is being blocked in the Senate.
Honourable member from Dolphin Swan River, Neepawa.
Mr. Speaker, we know why the Prime Minister is blocking the carbon tax carve-out for Canadian farmers. It's because his Environment Minister has threatened to quit if Bill C-234 passes. But the Environment Minister doesn't care about Canadian farmers because he's jetting off to Dubai for 2 weeks. It's the middle of the day in Ottawa, but it's the middle of the night in Dubai. So will the Prime Minister at least allow senators to pass the carbon tax carve-out while his minister is asleep in Dubai?
How can something be blocked in the Senate? The Liberal senators blocked the bill. There are Liberal senators. They're called the Progressive Senators Group. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian
give
politics.
a little
right
bit of
here.
information without
Eric
seeming
Melillo
too
is a
excited.
very young MP from Ontario. He's only 25, but he seems to have
Melillo
more
is
common
a
sense
kid.
than the coalition government.
And he's pretty too.
They simply don't understand is that their plan is just not working.
So
it's not just
dumb.
Conservatives saying it. The Chiefs of Ontario, representing 133 First Nations, nearly a third of which that are located in the Kenora district, are taking this government to court, arguing that the carbon tax leaves them worse off and breaches the principles of reconciliation. So why doesn't this Prime Minister finally show some common sense and axe his tax on farmers, families, and First Nations for good?
What were you doing when you were 25? Eric Melillo's an MP questioning the Liberals. Like and subscribe. We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. Wildest moment in Parliament.
The honourable member who got here at the same time I did knows full well that you can't use that word. I would say the honourable member should retract that and apologize. The honourable member Battle River Crowfoot.
Mr. Speaker, I will not apologize to that Prime Minister when he continues to lie about the independence of the Senate.
I'm asking the honourable member to apologize for the second time and retract that word. The honourable member knows full well you cannot use that word in this chamber.
Yeah, I agree. It's scripted. Like for instance, they didn't know exactly how this moment was going to play out, but
it's the truth.
They kind of knew that. I don't mean to sound too paranoid, guys. I'm just saying that I do agree with you that
would you
it
mind
is
leaving us today?
Semi-scripted. Like and subscribe. This is Mr. Magoo, a.k.a. Larry Macaulay, Minister of Agriculture. He's 77. Right? That's an issue.
We do not. The Conservative Party of Canada has senators in their caucus. The Conservative Party of Canada does not have a policy or a plan for the environment. But I can assure my honourable colleague that we do have a plan for the environment, and that's why we're able to make an investment of $1.5 billion to help farmers, processors reduce their environmental footprint. Mr. Speaker, we have and will continue to support our farmers and ranchers in this country.
Like and subscribe, having fun with Canadian politics. What is this liberal propaganda all about? Randy Bossino stepped in for Trudeau. Poilievre makes fun of it. Check it out.
That carbon tax question was for the Prime Minister on Prime Minister's question period today. And I know that I don't have my glasses on, but that guy doesn't look like the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker. You're right. I have a very simple motion. It says that
And so the reason it's so funny is because, well, this is Randy. He doesn't look like Trudeau.
Conservative Albertans, New Democrat Albertans, Liberal Albertans. You know why, Mr. Speaker? Because Danielle Smith is trying to take Albertans out of the Canada Pension Plan. And what do we have from the leader of the Conservative opposition, Mr. Speaker? Weak sauce and platitudes. The pretender to the throne can...
So little Randy's a funny-looking politician, but Pierre is a really funny politician.
Bossino
it's great.
is a
Like and
jackass.
subscribe. We've got way more coming.
Right?
Who knows?
Randy
Climate
Bossino's
change,
a little,
whatever.
like,
Let's see.
Kind of jerk.
years, they still don't have a plan to fight climate change. Over there, what they have is a plan to quadruple a tax that has failed to fight climate change, giving Canada the 58th ranking out of 63 countries, missing every target but one in 8 years, and on track to miss their targets in 2030. So stop distracting from the real agenda here, which is to take money away from farmers, from food, and from the necessities of Canadian life. Will they, yes or no, announce their support for the Senate passing common sense conservative bill C-234 to take the tax off the farmers who feed us?
We're having fun with Canadian politics right here. Like and subscribe. So Trudeau's missing. Poilievre is on the hunt. It's pretty funny. He gets wound up.
Mr. Speaker, that carbon tax question was for the Prime Minister on Prime Minister's question period today. And I know that I don't have my glasses on, but that guy doesn't look like the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker. You're right. I have a very simple motion. It says that given that the government has announced a temporary 3-year pause to the federal carbon tax on home heating oil, the House call on the government to extend that pause to all forms of heating oil, period. Will the Prime Minister have the courage to stand up and indicate whether the vote on this motion will be a free vote for his members?
It is pretty funny, right? Think he's gonna find Trudeau? Like, subscribe. We'll let you know. Carbon tax chaos, they say. Carbon tax chaos.
Carbon tax chaos continues. The incoming leader of the Liberal Party, Mark Carney, has weighed in and said that he, quote, I would have looked for other ways to provide support than the route chosen, not least of because what is important is that clarity in terms of the overall plan, the overall direction. So now we have an incoming Liberal leader taking pot shots at an outgoing Liberal Prime Minister who is in hiding. How much longer can Canadians deal with this carbon tax chaos before we get an election and choose a common sense Conservative candidate?
What would you think about an election today? How would you vote? Like and subscribe. We'll be bringing more videos.
Something confusing.
Well, Wicked Wednesday. Trudeau was missing. Poilievre
I use
goes on
the same
hunt.
camera.
It's pretty
all the
entertaining.
time. But sometimes it looks so
promised that
sharp.
Wednesdays would be Prime Minister's question period. His public itinerary indicates he's in Ottawa, and he was even spotted in the building. So the question is for the Prime Minister about the carbon tax chaos he has unleashed. He's paused the tax on some heat for some people, leading the government of Alberta to threaten a lawsuit, the government of Saskatchewan to threaten not to collect the tax, NDP provincial parties in the West even turning against it, and some First Nations saying the entire thing is illegal. Will he reverse all of this chaos and just axe the tax?
So do you think Trudeau's going to axe the tax, be intimidated by those lawsuits? Who knows? We'll check it out. Like and subscribe. Catch you next time. Line them up. Pierre slamming them down one by one. Check it out.
Badly for that Liberal minister who's been abandoned by his leader, who the leader of their government won't even stand and defend his own decisions. We know that on Thursday, he suddenly, after having his door beat down by terrified Liberals about to lose their seats, decided to flip-flop and bring in a temporary pause on a tax until after the election, dividing Canadians once again into two different classes. If he's so proud of how he's divided people, if he's so proud of how he's forcing Canadians to choose between heating and eating, why won't he have the guts to stand up and say so now?
So do you think Trudeau's going to axe the tax, be intimidated by those lawsuits? Who knows? We'll check it out. Like and subscribe. Catch you next time. So the new Speaker of the House, Greg Fergus, has been having trouble controlling both the Liberals and the Conservatives. It's out of hand. He can't stop them. Check it out.
Colleagues, it is so important. Colleagues, sit down. Hello. Order. Colleagues, it is important, once again, to not call in. Sit down, speaker it up. Could I ask the member, please, from Surrey, to please allow me to continue.
Almost started to feel bad for him there. Sit down, shut up. Like and subscribe, we've got way more coming. Hey guys, what's up? Aaron here, Question Period Canada. You've heard of the World Economic Forum, right? Yeah? It's scandalous. I don't know. There are so many Liberal MPs, though, that are members of this organization. Let's see who some of them are. Do you recognize this jackass? It's our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, a member of the World Economic Forum. Yup. And this is Chrystia Freeland. You might know her as our Deputy Prime Minister, Finance Minister. She's a wicked witch and a member of the World Economic Forum.
Did we go?
And this cute little thing is Melanie Joly. She's the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but also a member of the World Economic Forum. It's scary. Guys, there's so many of them. If you want to know more about this, check out the video below. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you next time. Looks just like Clark Kent. This is John Barlow. He's an MP from Alberta.
Monday, we'll be voting on a common sense Conservative motion to axe the carbon tax on home heating for every single Canadian.
That's right.
It's snowing in southern Alberta. It's cold, but it shouldn't be a luxury to heat your home. And yet when this Prime Minister quadruples his carbon tax, Mountain View Farms in my riding will be paying $480,000 a year in carbon taxes. But this Prime Minister says no carbon tax relief for Alberta. But on Monday, the Liberal members from Calgary Skyview and Edmonton Centre have a chance to defend Alberta and vote with us to end the tax and keep the heat on. Will they do it?
So what do you think of John Barlow? He does look like Clark Kent. Do you think he can fly in and save the day? Like and subscribe. We've got lots of videos coming. Guys, Aaron here, Question Period Canada. When it comes to freebies from Trudeau, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, that is exactly what we are doing. We are offering the same program for heat pumps that we have with Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland and Labrador to all provinces across the country. All they have to do is join us in making sure we can deliver heat pumps for free to low-income Canadians. There are 1.3 million households across this country, 500,000 in Quebec, 250,000 in Ontario, tens of thousands across the provinces.
I think Trudeau is truly a fraud.
To clean the air,
and
to
I think
save their wallets
he
some
knows
money.
what he's
That's
doing.
exactly what
People
we're doing.
call
I
him
look forward
stupid.
to working with BC
He's
and all
not
other provinces
stupid.
on this program.
I just can't trust him, guys. Like and subscribe. The Honourable MP from Thornhill, Melissa Lansman.
we're gonna do-
She's fun. Check her out. Funny hair.
Right here is trying to construct a maybe new playlist. Because I think what's happened is that I did go through maybe all of my shorts or whatever that list was in that order. You want to know what's probably the best idea is to wrap this one up, and then maybe I'll come back in 25 minutes and do stuff with longer form, like because I've got like dozens and dozens of long form video too. Maybe we'll take a look at that. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'm Aaron. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Tugs, Moo, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll be back in 20 minutes if you want to check that out. We're going to just change it up and go there. That's it. Aaron, Questionberry, Canada. Thank you guys for watching. Tugs and Moo, especially. You made my Christmas day pretty special. We're out. That's